My name is Sushant Verma. I'm an architect, computational designer, and an educator. I run a studio called RATLab Studio, research in architecture and technology, and also involved into education through RATLab Education and Smart Labs. And the work that we do is broadly focused on use of technology in design, which includes computational design, parametric design, amongst other design technologies that we often use in different projects. And the kind of projects that we work upon is varying from different scales and typologies. We're working on facades, residential projects, we're doing villas, we're doing commercial spaces, shopping centers, art installations. So right from the scale of a furniture to a large city, we are glad to be involved in many scales and many typologies of projects. And our whole idea of smart design is pretty much wherever you can do something new, something innovative, what has not been done before conventionally. I think this is where the work needs to stand out. So every project is like an opportunity for us where we like to innovate, we like to see that how do we bring in innovation into the project. It is not necessarily aesthetic innovation, but it can be functional or other aspects of innovation as well.
So what exactly do you think is smart design and smart technologies in architecture?
Smart is a very vague term and it's a large umbrella. I'll be very candid with it that it's an overabused term as well. There is a lot of gimmick around it. It's more like how green used to be in the 90s, digital used to be in the 2000s, and pretty much now we have smart. Parametric used to be at some point as well, where it was overused and overabused out of context. So we need to understand that in what context are we talking about smart, because anything can be smart. It's a very subjective take on it. But to objectify something to be smart, I would rather list it into various verticals like, is it innovative? Is it functionally doing what it's supposed to do? Is it serving its purpose? Once you accumulate all of these aspects and objectively identify, that is where you can really define something which is smart. So I think smart is a very, very broad term. So smart design is anything where you are able to do something, meet the needs of the particular project or whatever you're doing basically. Currently, I feel there is a lot of marketing gimmick around it in terms of smart is used in different products like smart lighting, smartphone. And this is where my take on smart actually came. I gave a TEDx talk in 2016 where I was speaking about smart design. And I came up with the idea of questioning myself that what is smart education? So smart design and smart cities can be made by smart people. So to have smart people, you need smart education first, which I realized was not happening at that time. And we started to work a lot on the academic aspect of our studio as well, where we developed a lot of programs, innovative with different kind of hybrid studios, online studios. And I'm talking of all of this pre-COVID time when online studios were not a regular thing. So I think for us, that was really smart. And so Smart Labs is one of the programs that I run. And I have tutors from different parts of the world who contribute to that program and impart education to different people across the globe. So I think that itself, that we are able to gather information from different parts, different demographics and geographies, and impart that to different kind of people, is itself smart inherently. Then comes the part where what we teach. This is where we try to teach something which is not conventional, which has not been done before. So right now, of course, we started with computational design, parametric design, and now delving towards understanding of metaverse, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs. All of that is happening right now. So even AI, which is the next big thing, I feel. So that's pretty much where we are at. Yeah.
So you mentioned about AI. So what do you think is the credibility of AI? Like people are not very, they're not accepting it in a very, they're not welcoming it very openly. So what is your take upon that? How do you feel that it will transform, architecture or design fields in the future?
So I feel the acceptability and whether it's credible or not, I think that, to be honest, does not matter personally to me as much right now. I truly feel that any technology that is new goes through a phase. It has a gestation cycle and it has a peak and it has a dying curve as well. So there is a very interesting communications theorist in 1960s, Rogers Everett. He gave this whole idea of Rogers bell curve, that every technology will be adapted by top 2.5% of people first, who we termed as innovators. Then it goes to next 13.5%, which is early adopters. Then we have early majority, then late majority, and then the laggards. So every technology has to go through that. Some die right in the middle, some die even before that. Whether AI is going to reach that peak or not, it's too early to say, to be honest. Any technology goes through that level of acceptance and usability. I think right now, what is important is that whatever new technologies are available and accessible to us, we leverage them and use them smartly. It's like a weapon which you can use to protect yourself or to destroy something. So I think it's a double-edged sword always, anything new and innovative. So I think AI is pretty much on the same curve right now, that it has got a potential. I'm very much interested personally in the potentials of it. Whether it can be translated and manifested into something tangible within the profession, it's too early to say. The problem is we are making claims and assumptions way too early, and then we get disappointed because it's not able to serve the purpose. Same has happened with computational and parametric design as well. For the longest of time, people thought whether I can get 100 iterations in one click of a button and choose the best. It does not work like that. So for that, it required people to get educated into that field for many years to understand that. So I think we must take advantage of the technology available, but use it smartly, which is where human intervention is required. So in a hybrid way, if you use it, there is a huge potential, I feel.
So do you think parametric design is accessible, and how can parametric design contribute to the third world countries?
So it's a very interesting question because parametric design often is confused with something very expensive. So that's pretty much where the question stems from, that can third world countries also afford to have parametric design? See, parametric design is one part of computational design, which is the larger umbrella, I feel. Computation or any kind of computing power can actually be used to solve problems. You can solve problems of scale, be it, let's say optimization of cost, for example, optimization of material, optimization of the right resources being put into place. So that is where I see it has to be used. It does not have to be necessarily, bombarded in terms of the geometric aesthetics that it gives you as well, which is a byproduct of it. So I think aesthetics will always be a byproduct of it. Whether you want to use it in that context or not, that is something which really depends on the users. So irrespective of whether it's for an emerging economy or a developed country or a third world country, it does not really matter much, to be honest. Yeah.
So sir, to end, I would like to ask that how do you find the SmartEx platform and other platforms like ArcDaily? What are your thoughts about it? That how do they play an important role in today's time?
So I think I've had a wonderful experience at SmartEx. We had wonderful, interesting talk and good panel discussions lined up. The content is really well curated, and I'm not saying that because I'm a part of the curation team, but overall as well, how it is organized and the kind of topics that we are touching upon are not very widely discussed in our fraternity in India specifically. And I've been a part of a lot of conferences in other countries as well, and I feel that there is definitely a difference between what kind of discourse we engage in India and in other countries as well. So I totally feel that it is required to initiate a global discourse of this kind. So the event has been quite interesting in terms of its theme. We're talking of smart design, smart technologies, which is, I think, very much required to be spoken about as a discourse. ArcDaily has been, the Bible for architects, to like a go-to for everyone to read credible information about the profession and what's happening around as well. So I think it's one of the platforms which I think we've all been looking up to in terms of that's pretty much where we get all our news and the credible news from, which gets sourced to different other platforms, of course, as well. Now with social media, grabs all our attention basically, and all the eyeballs are on Pinterest and social media, I would say, on Instagram and stuff. I think ArcDaily definitely has been one of the platforms which I've been very well inclined with, and in fact, I was speaking to Dima earlier as well that, how I met the team from ArcDaily in 2019 in Ukraine in a conference which was focused on future of architecture. And that's pretty much where we clicked interest as well, that this is the thing that we want to talk about. This is the aspect that we want to, cover more about and read more about and make sure that the viewers are reading that. So kudos to ArcDaily, of course, and thank you to ArcDaily for flying in here and covering this event. And it's been a great show.